Hello, everybody. Just getting a few things squared away here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our coverage here. Well, my coverage, I suppose, of the Mars 2020 landing. The landing should be in about 49 minutes from now. Just wanted to get everything set up here, and then we'll get into our actual coverage of the mission. Everything so far is going quite well, unsurprisingly. I'm just gonna finish my last few tasks here. I need to announce on Discord. All right. Hey, everybody. So we're covering the landing of really two vehicles on Mars today. That is the Perseverance rover, which you can see in front of you there, as well as the Mars Ingenuity helicopter, which you can also see on the top right. This is the first rover landing since 2012, I believe, when Curiosity landed. Of course, Curiosity is still roving around on Mars, and Perseverance, in terms of its chassis, is basically a twin of Curiosity, but the wheels for Perseverance, as well as most of the instruments, are completely different and updated. The cameras on Perseverance are significantly more numerous and better quality. Yeah, so just gonna wait for a couple more people to roll in, maybe give it a minute or two, and then I will talk a little bit about what we're looking at for the mission. Thanks, Darge. So we are going to take a look at. Yeah, you can almost be a citizen of the stars. All right, so we're going to take a look at a couple clips here. So first up, I'm going to show you a clip of what we're expecting the entry, descent, and landing sequence to look like for Perseverance. So at this point of the clip, you can see that right here, the vehicle separates from its cruise stage. The cruise stage is sort of what's been carrying it along through space. The cruise stage provides power and propulsion. But interestingly, Perseverance's computer actually operated the cruise stage. So once it sheds the cruise stage just crashes into the planet. So here you can see that it's entering with its heat shield. And that shot was just showing the interior of the back shell there. It's silent because I didn't want the video sound blaring over my voice as I sort of explain things. But there also is no sound in space. That's a good point. So then it opens up a parachute. This parachute's about 70 feet or about 21 meters across. It's massive. And then the next stage is to actually drop it. Then we get a series of retro rockets, as you can see here. This cradle that's holding the rover and sort of lowering it down to the surface is also known as the sky crane, and you'll see why in just a moment. So it's as it comes in here, it's using a technology called terrain relative navigation to actually look at the ground and see where there's a safe spot to land. It is actually comparing what it's seeing to maps it has from orbital imagery. And after it sets the rover down on the surface, it flies away and crashes. Obviously, this is a very complex entry, descent, and landing sequence. But we're hoping everything goes okay. It has been used twice successfully, this system. The first time was Curiosity in 2012, and then it was used again successfully for Insight in 2018, I believe. Early 2019, maybe. I was shocked it worked with Curiosity too, Darge. I think everybody was very worried about it. I mean, in terms of the engineering, it should work fine, but it's extremely complex. So we're going to move from the landing clip here to talk a little bit about the overall mission of Mars 2020. And it is the first phase of the Mars sample return mission. So it will be collecting samples throughout its mission, particularly the first 2 years of its mission, which is considered the prime mission. These rovers tend to last quite a bit longer than their prime mission, but I think that they'll do most of their sample collecting in the prime mission because there will be other missions coming along behind to collect those samples and actually return them to Earth. So here you can see that, Perseverance has collected its samples and then dropped them on the surface. Then this other rover will land. It's going to be called the Fetch Rover, and its entire job will be just to drive as fast as it can and pick up those samples. It will then return them, as you can see here, to the lander, which will launch a rocket into orbit. Man, this clip is way too fast. I need to slow this down. All right, I'm going to explain the steps first. The Fetch Rover will return the samples to the lander. The lander will remove them from the rover with a robotic arm and install them into the base of a rocket that will take them into Mars orbit. Then another mission will launch from Earth, probably during this whole process, and it will meet up with the sample container in orbit and then bring it back to Earth. And you'll be able to see that all in this animation here. So, yeah, you can see the Fetch Rover here. Fetch Rover is being designed and built by the European Space Agency. So this is a joint mission, international mission. Probably the scariest part of this whole thing is that rocket that takes the samples up into orbit of Mars. Because, we've never done that before. And here you can see it shooting the samples off back to Earth. Another very interesting part of this mission that will take place at the very beginning is a technology demonstrator, which is this little guy, Ingenuity. Ingenuity is a helicopter, the first helicopter to ever attempt to fly, the first attempt at powered flight, really, off of Earth. And so this is basically what's going to happen. Perseverance will drop Ingenuity off, and then it will sit back and take a video and watch it fly. Can't wait to see video from Perseverance. It's going to be excellent. So it's always good to remind that Ingenuity is a technology demonstrator. They are hedging heavily that it might not work. They've never tried to fly anything on Mars before. They think it will work, but you know, it's not, and it's not a key part of the mission if it doesn't. The only payloads on Ingenuity are 2 cameras, but that is really cool because if it does work, it will be able to take great pictures of Perseverance and, of course, of the driving path and all of the surroundings of Perseverance and allow it to make better progress, be able to see hazards earlier. Yeah. So we're going to now transition into actually showing the coverage from, I'm actually using the GPL stream. The NASA stream was breaking up a little bit earlier. So I'm using the GPL 360 video, which is pretty cool. So I can also do this and make you guys seasick. It's great. All right, let's get some audio going here. Okay, why is this not showing? It's not. No audio. Why is there no audio?
It turns off our ranging and switches to the auxiliary oscillator. We have also started our real-time data product and reinforced medley on. At this time,
Now, we just heard Perseverance team leaders thank the cruise team for their work in guiding the rover to Mars. Now, did you know the rover name and Mars helicopter name came from students? Well, a couple weeks ago, Marina was able to catch up with them.
Thanks, Raquel. Earlier this year, NASA and our partners held a nationwide essay contest to name our Mars rover. Alex Mather, a 7th grader from Springfield, Virginia, submitted the winning essay that was selected by NASA from a field of more than 28,000 entries from K through 12 students in every state in the U.S. Vanessa Rupani's essay for Ingenuity was so compelling, NASA thought it would be a perfect name for the history-making helicopter, a technology demonstration carried aboard the Perseverance rover. Alex and Vanessa join us now. Welcome, you guys.
Hello, space nerds.
Hi.
Now, you got to go to Florida and watch the launch live back in July. Alex, what were you feeling as you saw that rocket launch into the sky?
I read a log of books written by astronauts, and every single one of them always talks about the raw power behind a space launch. And I definitely feel like watching the launch invoked that sense of well, inspiration mixed with anticipation, along with that rumble in my chest.
That's very inspirational, and I'm sure that you have had many conversations with your classmates since this all began. Now, what kind of questions have they asked you?
I got some people asking me about what this helicopter is, what this rover is, what are they actually going to do. So I love that this whole experience sparked a greater interest in the mission in my community.
Why do you think it's so important for kids to be inspired by space exploration?
Because space is the future, and kids are the future. learning about space and watching the story of humanity spread to the stars happen is watching the future happen and seeing history unfold.
The best way to keep our home safe and protect our planet is to learn from the worlds around it. So I think it's really important for the next generation of scientists to be engaged in that type of exploration to make our home the best place it can be.
Now, speaking of the future, what has your life been like since naming the rover and helicopter? Has it sparked any future aspirations for the two of you?
Oh man, I am currently applying to a science and technology school for high school. Hoping for a NASA internship sometime along the way, with my ultimate goal being to join the incredible team of scientists and engineers who are about to make this happen.
This whole experience has definitely shown me that I want to go into the space industry. I came home from Florida, did all my college applications, and checked aerospace engineering on all the boxes. I mean, the whole time we were there, I was thinking, why would anyone want to do anything else?
So true. And the best of luck to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Alex and Vanessa.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
Now, your essays, as well as the top 155 finalist essays, are riding on the Perseverance rover, along with nearly 11 million of the names from all over the world that were submitted before launch. And if you miss the chance to get your name on Perseverance, then you will get another chance to reserve a spot on the next mission to Mars. So make sure that you sign up now at mars.nasa.gov for your boarding pass. As virtual celebrations are happening all over the globe, let's take a look at some of your submissions on our social channels, showing us how you're celebrating the Perseverance landing right now. And remember to hashtag Countdown to Mars and send those in. We would love to show them off. Look at these kids. They are getting so excited. Everyone's watching it. A lot of classrooms are watching it. Oh, and great, someone did a Lego version of Perseverance, which is awesome. It looks fantastic. We love getting all your pictures out there. We've gotten a lot of artwork from kids, which has been great. I know I have a 9-year-old John at home, and he loves to draw the rover. And look at that. That is awesome. That's better than anything I could bake, that's for sure. Perseverance in a cake. That looks so great. Delicious. I want to get into that. Another great send-in from David Bowie Real. Thank you so much for your submissions. Remember, hashtag Countdown to Mars. We love to see.
So, basically what we're looking at here is in it's about 17 minutes, we're going to see the cruise stage separation. Yep. Cruise stage separation in 17 minutes. And then the beginning of the entry interface is in 26 minutes. Of course, we have the 7 minutes of terror after that, which basically leads up to landing. We are expecting to have communication with Perseverance through most of it. Some of it will just be tones. So basically those tones are direct from the rover back to Earth, and they are basically just saying, yes, I'm alive, no, I'm not alive, or I shouldn't say that. Obviously you don't get a tone if it's not alive. But more like, yes, I'm alive, or yes, I'm alive, but there's a problem, or yes, I'm alive, but I'm in safe mode, so on and so forth. They also do expect that they will have communication, more significant communication through the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which should be able to give more data.
keeping in. And so it's a little bit colder. But then I also get asked, what would I weigh on Mars? That's a really fun question. So on Mars, it's a little bit smaller than the Earth, so the gravity there is weaker. It's about 3/8 the gravity that we have
Emily
here on
Candrelli
Earth.
is amazing.
So if you weighed 100
Love
pounds here on Earth, you'd weigh 38 pounds on Mars, or 100 kilograms here on Earth, 38 kilograms on Mars.
Those are all super fun. I think even some adults want to know the answers to those questions, Emily. Now, why do you think it's so important to educate kids about science and give them that great foundation?
Well, science is the language of nature, and learning about science and learning how to think like a scientist means you are learning how to systematically seek out truth in the world. You are learning the scientific method, you're learning how to be a critical thinker, and honestly, those skills are great for whatever you end up wanting to do in life.
True. If you want to be a scientist or an opera singer, that holds true. And what are you most excited about today?
I mean, humans are launching a robot to Mars. That doesn't happen every day. I think in all of the hecticness that is going on today and all of the nerves, I just hope everyone can take a moment to sit back and remember that we live in a time when humans have the ability to send a robot to another planet. And that's so cool to me.
It is very cool, Emily. Take a deep breath. Thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
Sending it back to you now, Raquel.
Thanks, Marina. We are offering lots of ways to ride along with us to Mars. Now put yourself right into the action now with our Perseverance photo booth. You can pose next to the
here
rover,
we go.
place
There's
yourself
a
in our
good
mission
shot
control,
of
and even see
of
what
Percy
you might look
arriving,
like taking a selfie on the red planet.
arriving at Mars.
There, you'll also
Mars
have a
is
chance
getting real
to
big
sign
in
up
the
to
window.
send your name to Mars on NASA's next flight to the red planet. It's all available at go.nasa.gov/Mars 2020 Toolkit. And
it should not pause when I scrub around.
And joining us now is today, Matt, breaking down key moments coming up, and very few people know more about landing on Mars than Rob, going back to the Pathfinder mission in 1997. Thanks for joining us today, Rob.
Thank you very much, Raquel, for having me here. And what a wonderful experience. What a wonderful day for a beautiful day in California. We're just all so excited here, anxious, worried, but very hopeful.
Rob, I have a question for you. There is a landing tradition at JPL that involves eating peanuts for good luck. Can you tell us how did that start?
Yes, it started in the mid-1960s. What happened was we had a series of missions that had failures. The Ranger program in the early 1960s, one after another, failed. And what happened was one day a fellow by the name of Dick Wallace on Ranger number 7, on the 7th attempt, decided to bring peanuts to the ops area just before the launch, and guess what? That mission worked. Now, we're not supposed to be too superstitious. We're engineers and scientists after all.
Yeah, you
But
guys
we
aren't
love tradition.
superstitious
And
at
ever
all.
since then,
Jeez.
before launch and before critical events like entry, descent, landing, we have brought out peanuts and shared them with the team. And it's been really a wonderful little experience. And so this is something we'll do. We're doing right now. And it's something that we just can't help ourselves. It's just part of the experience.
Well, speaking of the experience, how did the Perseverance team keep the tradition alive this year?
Well, this year we're passed out little packets of peanuts to the team, and they can sneak one peanut in their mouth as part of to keep the tradition alive. But this is part of the COVID experience, but we can't leave this one undone. So this is what we're doing, and this is going to help us land safely.
All right, thanks, Rob. I have some questions for you a little later on, but we're heading back to Swati Mohan, who is part of the landing team. She'll be calling out key milestone and events as they happen from Mission Control. So let's listen in right now.
So right now we're still about 20 minutes from entry, and the EL phase is giving a last-minute confirmation of what will be happening in the upcoming changes to the vehicle, just to remind the team.
Shell. And this will allow us to steer our trajectory as we make our way through the atmosphere. This is one of the things that allowed MSL, the Curiosity rover, to land where it did. And we're depending on the same type of entry guidance this time around to help get us very close to our target. As we make our way through entry, finish our guided entry profile, we'll do a maneuver called heading alignment, where we point toward the target and get ready to deploy the parachute. But before we deploy the parachute, we need to get rid of a set of balance masses that have been giving us a center of gravity, or CG offset, throughout the guided entry phase. So these are called the entry balance masses. We also call this maneuver SUFR, S-U-F-R, or straighten up and fly right. So we'll go ahead and eject those masses when we get a trigger from the GNC system telling us that we're at the appropriate range to the target to do so. As soon as we deploy those, we will no longer have a CG offset, and we'll be ready to deploy the parachute 17 seconds later.
Right where the Perseverance team is sitting now, what's in store for them as we approach landing?
I'm going to hold here for EDO prep as we're about to start that anchor.
Copy, Piece 2. And activity, please call that out when it's ready. Copy, Flip.
Can we make the announcement now? Okay. Maggie needs to make the announcement that.
So I'm just going to take a moment to, I want to discuss Jezreel Crater, because Jezreel Crater is the landing location for Perseverance, and just wanted to talk about it for a moment. You're going to see very quickly why they wanted to go there. So this is Jezreel Crater. The white ellipse there is their landing sort of area. It's they basically have a 99% chance of landing inside that circle. So right away it looks like an interesting crater. It's a very old crater, as you can tell. The crater rim is quite eroded, and you can see there's actually a river that used to run through the crater wall. Now, I'm going to take a look at another shot here. This is a little bit of a higher image, but here you can see that it's very obvious that there used to be a lake in this crater. You can see a river flowing in, you can see a river flowing out. Very cool. You didn't like my pronunciation of Jezreel? All right. But you can see that what they're targeting here to study is the delta from the river that flowed into the crater. Basically, they're hoping here that the sediments that flowed in from the river will contain signs of ancient life, which, you know, would be awesome. But, yeah, I'm sorry, Darge. I've been watching coverage of this for months, and everybody's been saying Jezreel, including the Mars folks. So I'm assuming it's Jezreel. Well, if all the Mars people are saying Jezreel, I'm going with Jezreel. Anyway, this is sort of an artist's impression of what it would have looked like. Probably, I'm guessing, billions of years ago, when Mars was warm. And yeah, so Perseverance is going to go along this delta here and gather samples and see if we can find evidence for ancient life in that area. Obviously, it's a very rich and active area to explore, so there should be a lot of science that they can do there. I'm sure this rover will be busy for as long as they can keep it working. And to give you an idea of where Jezreel is in comparison to the rest of Mars and of the rest of the missions, sort of off by itself. As you can see here, it is a little bit in between every other mission. It's northwest of Insight and Curiosity and far northeast of Opportunity. And and yeah, it should be an interesting place to explore. One of the things about Jezreel, though, because of the cliff wall there and the cliff there, and because they really need to be able to target this delta, they actually have wanted to land here for a very long time, but they haven't, just plain and simply haven't had the technology to do it. It hasn't been possible to land. To land accurately enough to actually explore Jezreel Crater without, some extreme risk to a multi-billion-dollar spacecraft. But with the advent of terrain relative navigation and several other technology advancements, they now think that they can hit this landing target quite confidently. And although I'm still sort of eyeing up that little crater or the little cliff wall there that's right in the middle of the landing site, and hopefully the terrain relative navigation works properly and it doesn't land on the edge of the cliff, because that would be annoying. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to talk about with Jezreel. It's a really fascinating spot to explore, and I can't wait to see what we find out.
We're firing our first pyros to vent the HRS liquid and gas.
So we're about 3 minutes away now from cruise stage separation.
We have to vent it into space. And this is one of the first major events that take place as part of entry, descent, landing.
The HRS vent anchor is complete.
Yes.
We will see the next anchor in approximately 3 minutes.
Okay.
We are currently 12.5 minutes from entry interface. We are coming upon cruise stage separation in 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
What's happening now, Rob?
Okay, well, we're just waiting. The Rover is completely in charge. It's doing all the things we've taught it how to do. It's all built into the software. We've tested it over and over and over again. This team has spent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, testing this thing for years, and so this is really the culmination of all that work. So this vehicle is getting ready to push that cruise stage away. Once it gets pushed away, the entry system with the rover inside, with the rover still in charge, is going to get ready to take the vehicle, turn it to the right orientation, and aim it to Mars, and prepare for entering the atmosphere. This won't be long. Be prepared for this event.
We're about 1.5 minutes from cruise stage separation, about 11 minutes, 20 seconds from entry interface.
Okay, so it's about 10 minutes from cruise stage separation till entering the top of the atmosphere. From then on and out, things happen
We are
fast.
switching to the MFSK tones. Telemetry will have stopped.
Telecom is confirming that the spacecraft has switched to broadcasting tones.
Here we go, folks.
These tones are received directly from Perseverance, but have very limited information content.
Should have cruise stage separation in about a
real-time
minute.
information until about 9-10 minutes from now, once the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter starts relaying information from Perseverance. We are under a minute from cruise stage separation, about 10.5 minutes from entry interface.
It's getting exciting. I have to admit, I am quite anxious, but very hopeful that this machine is going to do what we asked it
We
to
are seeing
do.
the heartbeat tones.
Okay, that means
We're
that
seeing heartbeat
there's no more
tones?
ones and zeros coming. It's just the vehicle telling us it's still alive.
We're continuing to receive tones from Perseverance, standing by for cruise stage separation.
Cruise stage separation is imminent.
We have indication that cruise stage separation has been confirmed by the spacecraft.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
We're off on a good start.
In about 1 minute, Perseverance's landing software will wake up and begin the final preparations for entry. The first action it will do is to fire warm-up pulses with its entry thrusters. These pulses ensure that the spacecraft gets the thrust that it wants during entry interface. We're about 9 minutes from entry interface.
It's on its own. It's turning itself into the direction of facing the heat shield toward Mars, and will eventually hitting the top of the atmosphere. We're not far
Entry
away.
interface is
this
8
going to
minutes
go
away.
very quickly from here on out.
And then, of course, it's only 7 minutes between entry interface and landing.
That's confirmation that we got shadowed by the cruise stage as it passed through our beam to the Earth.
Excellent.
Telecom indicated actually that we could see a signal that the cruise stage went between the Perseverance entry capsule and Earth. So we saw a little blip, the data stream indicating the cruise stage separation. We have confirmation that the vehicle has started warming up those entry thrusters. Warm-up pulses have begun.
Somebody's messing with the sim. Oh, that's funny.
At this point, the spacecraft is trying to stop its spin from the cruise 2 revolutions per minute down to 0, and then will turn to its desired orientation from entry.
Oh, there we go.
It will separate the 2 balance masses that has kept it balanced during all of cruise. This will allow the entry capsule to have lift when it enters the atmosphere. We have confirmation that the spacecraft has turned to the desired entry attitude.
Excellent.
We are about 7.5 minutes from entry interface.
Okay, the vehicle is pointed in the right direction. The thrusters are warmed up and doing their job. And now we've spun down from the 2 revolutions per minute that the vehicle had the whole way to Mars. It was a spin-stabilized spacecraft. And then from here on out, it's going to just be a bullet, and it's going to control its orientation and attitude via rockets on the back of that back shell.
Points carrier lock. The DTE from Radio Science from Green Bank reports carrier lock. You see the carrier on the downlink.
Flight level 1.
We are continuing to wait for entry interface. We're about 6 minutes and 45 seconds from entry interface. We have confirmation from Greenback that they are receiving direct-to-Earth telemetry via that path. The spacecraft Perseverance is currently transmitting heartbeat tones. These tones indicate that Perseverance is operating normally and has nothing significant to report. This is as expected. We're currently just over 6 minutes from entry interface.
It's about 12 minutes delay right now, Agro. So if Perseverance is on the planet, well,
okay.
Perseverance is actually landing right about now. In, real time.
As soon as we get to the top of the atmosphere, it will be very quickly, which is the entry point. It won't be very long before the atmosphere will start getting thicker and thicker. It's going very quickly at a fairly steep angle of 15 degrees into the atmosphere, and as it starts to slow down.
We're just under, we're about 5.5 minutes from entry interface. We're still receiving heartbeat tones. We expect to continue receiving heartbeat tones until about 5 minutes after entry. At that time, Perseverance will be no longer in view of our antennas here on Earth. About 90 seconds prior to entry, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter should begin receiving telemetry from Perseverance and streaming it to Earth in near real time. There are a few expected short outages, such as when we have a plasma blackout or when we enter the peak heating phase. Aside from these outages caused by the plasma blackout, antenna switching, or high dynamic events, spacecraft events, we should have telemetry until about 90 seconds after landing. A plasma blackout is when the signal from Perseverance isn't strong enough to make it through the superheated, super fast air flowing around the spacecraft all the way down to Earth. Once the temperature drops below that peak heating, we do reacquire the signal from Perseverance. We are currently about 4.5 minutes from entry interface. Perseverance continues to report heartbeat tones, indicating everything is nominal.
Okay, what we're looking for now is Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter should be in view soon of our vehicle and be able to listen to ones and zeros coming from a separate radio that's really designed to talk between spacecraft.
We're in it now.
Report the reactor radio is powered on, ready to receive signals from the lander.
Okay, MRO is ready and able and waiting for to hear from our rover.
Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter has reported that it's ready to receive the signals from Perseverance. It should be in a few minutes here. We're just
Flight Local 1
from entry interface.
We don't need these ones and zeros, as Swati said, but to land safely, but we really need it for our own health and well-being today to keep our nerves in control.
Around this time,
mental health
a
is
second
important.
spacecraft, Maven, should begin picking up telemetry from Perseverance and will continue to record that telemetry until several minutes post-landing. We won't get that data for several hours after landing as it's being recorded and then will be forwarded to Earth later. We are continuing to receive heartbeat tones, indicating
Excellent.
that everything is nominal.
So
We're
everything's
currently
good so
at
far.
About 3 minutes until entry interface.
About 10 minutes now until the rover actually lands. Sorry,
Very
it's
soon
actually
we'll be
landed.
getting ones and zeros.
It's
I
10
hope,
minutes until
from our
we
radio
will
on the
get
rover.
any information about whether or not it landed.
The entry interface is nothing more than just an arbitrary place in the sky that we've defined to be above the atmosphere. But from that point on, there's definitely atmosphere, and above it there isn't
We
any.
are 2 minutes from entry interface. Perseverance is to transmit heartbeat tones, indicating everything is nominal.
So the
Everything good so
tones
far?
can tell us whether something is bad or not is happening. So far the heartbeat is doing well. So the vehicle thinks it's in good shape to land, which is a great sign.
Entry interface in just over 2 minutes.
We're just under 2 minutes from entry interface. As it gets closer to Mars, Perseverance is actually being pulled in by gravity and accelerating. By the time Perseverance reaches entry interface point, she should be going just under 5.4 kilometers per second. We're at about 90 seconds from entry interface and standing by for Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter to pick up the telemetry.
Everybody there looks really nervous right now.
We are 1 minute from entry interface.
MROs are in receive mode.
We have confirmation that the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is now relaying data from Perseverance. We're about 30 seconds from entry interface. Perseverance is going about 5.2 kilometers per second and is about 190 kilometers altitude above the surface of Mars.
All right, atmospheric entry.
Data flow.
Here we go. Oh boy, here we go.
About seconds from entry interface. 5.3 kilometers per second and an altitude of about 150 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
Altitude, 146 kilometers, 140 kilometers.
entry.
We have confirmation of entry interface. Perseverance is currently going 5.3 kilometers per second at an altitude of about 120 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
Here we go. There's the landing site off in the distance there.
The spacecraft is now waiting until it begins feeling the atmosphere of Mars to slow it down. Once there's enough atmosphere, it will start controlling its path to the landing target.
Touchdown in 5 minutes.
Navigation is also confirming that we can see a little bit of that slowdown of the atmosphere on the Perseverance entry capsule. Our current velocity is about 5.36 kilometers per second and an altitude of about 67 kilometers from the surface.
We are probably seeing MRO plasma blackout at this point.
The vehicle should be doing its turns right now.
MRO has lost lock.
Tomorrow is lost lock.
We have indications that Perseverance is now performing bank reversals in the atmosphere. These are the steps in order to control its distance to the landing target. Perseverance has just passed through the point of maximum deceleration and has indicated that it felt approximately 10 Earth Gs of deceleration.
Here we go.
MRO has lock again.
MRO has lock!
Yes. 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 Yes.
We saw a small outage of the UHF telemetry from Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter during that peak heating phase, likely caused by the plasma blackout.
So at this point, 4 minutes from landing, it was still alive.
In the atmosphere to control its distance to the landing target.
So this is where we're trying to land down here. Right there.
Perseverance is going about 1 kilometers per second at an altitude of about 16 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
Touchdown in 3
minutes. We have
minutes.
entered heading alignment, which means Perseverance is no longer trying to control the distance to Mars, but to the target on Mars, but instead is flying straight to the target.
Parachute.
Need parachute. Come on, parachute. You see parachute here. We have confirmation of parachute. Heat shield separation.
Our current velocity is about 550 meters per second at an altitude of about 15 kilometers from the surface.
MRO is reporting good telemetry lock.
Yes! Good telemetry lock. 2 minutes till touchdown.
We are starting the straighten up and fly right maneuver, where the spacecraft will jettison the entry balance masses in preparation for parachute deploy and to roll over to give the radar a better look at the ground.
Yes, yes, yes.
The navigation has confirmed that the parachute has deployed, and we are seeing significant deceleration in the velocity. Our current velocity is 440 meters per second at an altitude of about 12 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
Parachute worked. That's like, parachutes are evil. It was one of their biggest concerns.
Yes. Perseverance is now slowed to subsonic speeds, and the heat shield has been separated. This allows both the radar and the cameras to get their first look at the surface. Current velocity is 145 meters per second at an altitude of about 9.5 kilometers above the surface.
And here we go. She's on thrusters. Retro rockets. ...45 seconds to touchdown.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Perseverance now has radar lock on the ground. Current
Yes.
velocity is about 100 meters per second, 6.6 kilometers of the surface of Mars. Perseverance is continuing to descend on the parachute. We are coming up on the initialization of terrain relative navigation and subsequently the priming of the landing engines. Our current velocity is about 90 meters per second at an altitude of 4.2 kilometers.
Almost there.
We have confirmation that the lander vision system has produced a valid solution in part of terrain relative navigation.
Yes.
We have priming of the landing engines. Current velocity is 83 meters per second at about 2.6 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have confirmation that the back shell has separated.
Yes, here we go.
We are currently performing the Divert Maneuver. Current velocity is about 75 meters per second at an altitude of about a kilometer off the surface of Mars.
TRN Safety Bravo.
We have completed our terrain relative navigation. Current speed is about 30 meters per second, altitude of about 300 meters off the surface of Mars. We have started our constant velocity accordion, which means we are conducting the sky crane, about to conduct the sky crane maneuver.
We've lost direct-to-earth tones.
As expected. As expected.
Sky crane maneuver has started. About 20 meters off the surface.
We're getting signals from MRO.
UHF is good. Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance, safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the sands of past life.
Awesome, they did it. That's amazing. So awesome.
At this point, the descent stage has flown away.
God,
to
that's like
stage
such a
6.
crazy maneuver.
Perseverance is continuing to transmit
Oh, that's so cool.
direct through
Oh, they
Mars
did it.
Icon orbiter to Earth.
They did it. That's huge.
Oh my God. Oh. Oh.
MRO reports they're still getting telemetry from the lander.
Wow. They got a good lock with MRO.
All right, all stations.
We got it. We're
Touchdown
there.
confirmed. We're going to wait for the images.
Wow.
This is so exciting. The team is beside themselves. It's
Yeah.
so surreal. Stay tuned. We might get some pictures.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere, just so you know, folks. I'm staying with this for a while. They are expecting to get pictures as soon as, like, 8 or 9 minutes from now.
So much has been riding on this.
Yeah, we just heard the news that Perseverance is alive on the surface of Mars.
Oh my God.
Flight, we have seen the completion of EDL 3000.
Copy activity. That is as expected.
So I just wanted to mention, folks, we now have...
MRO is still seeing a strong signal from the lander.
We now have 3 successful missions out of 3 that were launched for Mars this year. Very exciting. There's now a lot of spacecraft at Mars. We'll be getting tons of science back from those 3. And we do expect a lander and rover to land for China.
Congratulations to the mission. And looks like we have some more news, and it looks
Hey,
like
we got a
the
picture!
first image.
Wicked! That's
Here,
awesome!
Take a look at the first image.
Flight, this is OL3. I have the target point on the map when you are ready. We are ready, OL3. Go for it.
Wow.
It sounds like they landed in a weird spot. All right. I didn't quite see what they were talking about there.
I'll be moving in, showing you the safe zone that we've landed in.
That's awesome. I'm just going to switch over to the NASA stream here, see if we can get a better shot. There we go.
Let's see our engine. Nice.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Oh, man, it's so cool. I just want to see if I can get some idea of where they landed.
Your resolution photo used to help the rover drive safely around Mars, and we will get higher resolution photos later in the rover cameras known as the surface of Mars. Now it comes from the engineering cameras known as the hazard camera. This camera is mainly used to help the rover drive safely around Mars, and we will get higher resolution photos later in the day.
Landed, but it's hard to see there.
Look at that, right? You get the safe. Wow. Let's see our engine. Nice.
This is amazing.
Here's Andrew.
Second image in. Our second.
Oh, we got another picture.
Okay, these we have a camera in the front and rear of the spacecraft. They're near the ground, so these are pretty close.
Excellent.
You can see the wheels there, and they're a little dirty because we've got glass covers over these cameras. But we took these seconds after landing, so there's still dust in the air from our landing event. So this is happening. This happened just
we have
seconds
3 images
ago.
now.
Just arrived, and this is really amazing. And we even know where we landed. This is the most amazing thing. The vehicle has told us where it's landed because it figured it out. This is a sign. NASA works. NASA works.
Can you
and
please
we
show
put
us a
our arms
map of where
together
you landed?
and our hands together and our brains together, we can succeed. This is what NASA does. This is what we can do as a country. On all of the problems we have, we need to work together to do these kinds of things and make success happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try and figure out where they landed.
Joining us now is the acting administrator of NASA, Steve Jurisic. Steve, welcome and congratulations.
Hey, thank you. What an amazing day.
How does it feel to have another rover on Mars?
It's amazing. To have Perseverance join Curiosity on Mars, and what just a credit to the team. I mean, just what an amazing team to work through all the adversity that goes and all the challenges that go with landing a rover on Mars, plus the challenges of COVID, and just an amazing accomplishment.
And what does this mean for NASA and its future plans?
So for robotic exploration, every time we execute a mission with new instruments, we discover new things and things we never thought we would discover. So that always informs our future robotic missions, both landers, rovers, and orbiters. This mission also has technology on it. One of the cool things is the Ingenuity helicopter. It's an experiment on this mission, but if it's successful, we can use it as an science observation platform by putting instruments on it, and also use it as a scout for future rover missions, and then just the entry, descent, and landing capability. It'll allow us to land more larger, more ambitious robots on the surface of Mars. And then for human exploration,
inputs from a couple people
we have the Medley, Mars Intercept and Landing Instrumentation, which is going to give us EDL information. We have the Mars Environmental Dynamics Analyzer. It's going to give us properties, size and properties of dust particles, because when we send people, we're going to have to deal with that dust. And this is just an incredible mission because of the science and the technology, and then caching samples for a Mars sample return mission. That will be an amazing mission, the first round trip to Mars and back, and bringing those samples cached by Perseverance back to Earth to examine with state-of-the-art equipment in our laboratories here on Earth.
We have so much to look forward to. And we also have a student question coming in.
So I just want to show you on here. I think that what they were showing over here with where it landed is this little green dot here. I'm not sure if you can even see it on my stream. But right here, I think, is where they landed. Well within their landing ellipse, certainly. But I think they were planning to land over here. I think they missed it by probably a couple hundred meters. It's right here. Excellent job by NASA. Excellent job by the spacecraft. And looks like they did a beautiful job. From here, I believe that the rover is actually going to head up towards this delta and then explore up in here. Minavira, Ingenuity being tested is actually one of the first tasks for this mission. I think they're expecting the flight test within the first month, so within the first 30 days on Mars. They're just going to look around and try and find a nice flat spot where they can drop off the helicopter, and then they're good to go.
So absolutely, we're going to try to eventually figure out how to live off the land to support human missions to Mars.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today, Steve.
Thank you.
And now that Perseverance has safely touched down on Mars, let's learn more about what's in store for the rover. Joining us now is Surface Mission Manager Jessica Samuels. Jessica, your surface operations team has now taken over. What are they doing now?
Yes. Hi, Raquel. We are so excited here in the Surface Mission Support area. The team will do a handover with the entry, descent, and landing team and pass any critical information. And then this team behind us will be the team that does the health and safety assessments daily as we progress on this mission.
And what do the upcoming weeks look like for your team?
So as we enter Mars time now, the commanding team will be working overnight while the rover is asleep so that we can perform the initial checkouts of our key rover functions and our science instruments. And we have to do this all in time for the regularly scheduled communication pass, which happens in the morning. And so we will be working around the clock, making sure that Perseverance is healthy, and we will begin this exciting adventure.
And can you tell me, what's it like living on Mars time?
It's a little bit like constantly, flying and changing your time zone. The rover, on Earth, the rover wakes up at the same time every day, but on Earth, that's 40 minutes later. So the team is going to be shifting our work schedule by 40 minutes as we come into work over the next few weeks. So it'll be exciting and some late nights, but we're also excited and we can't wait.
It's a whole new lifestyle.
Yes.
We also have a student question for you. This is Sophia's video.
Hi, my name is Sofia Lopez, and my question for NASA is, how's Perseverance gonna survive? And here's a drawing that I made from Perseverance thinking about Earth. Thank you.
Well, Sophia, Perseverance survives with a power source that charges its batteries overnight while it sleeps, and it keeps heaters on so that all of our critical electronics can stay warm, as well as our mechanism. But it's really survived by the team that performs the health and
Going to switch over to the JPL raw feed here. So we're there. made it to Mars. Everything looks great with Curiosity. Sorry, Curiosity. Well, everything does look great with Curiosity. Everything looks great with Perseverance, and with the Ingenuity so far. I am a little curious to get an actual good image of where they landed, but it seems like it was well within the landing ellipse and pretty much on track for where they want it to be. Looks like they're getting a good stream of images back here now. Definitely looks like they're looking very closely at the spot where they landed.
What was that for?
What a cool thing on the wall there. Dare mighty things. Love it.
Hey, Lynn.
All right, I'm gonna probably step away here in a few minutes, but this is pretty great. What a great day. So this is the first stage of the Mars sample return mission. It's going to be a very long mission. It should be about 11 years, roughly. It's going to involve another rover and another lander. And
all stations. Everyone.
And
all right, all stations. Congratulations, but believe it or not, we have a job to do now.
Now you have to operate the bloody thing.
OL1, TAD 1.
Go TAD 1.
Are we ready to look at the handoff?
Surface flight, this is flight.
Yes, please.
Should I go ahead and just share it in the WebEx that we're working now?
Yes, please.
Go ahead, flight.
Just
TAD 1,
want to
do we have
confirm
your
that
eyes?
your team is ready to receive Perseverance.
I am paying attention. Copy.
We are ready to receive Perseverance. Okay, are you ready for the new one is on the left?
Not yet.
The 1.1 is on the right.
We'll let the team here have...
All right, folks. Yeah, as I was saying, this is the first step of the Mars sample return mission, which will basically go from now until about 2031, currently planned. It will involve another rover to come pick up all the samples that Perseverance collects, and then a rocket to take off back into Mars orbit, and then an orbiter to come and grab those samples and then fire them back to Earth. Should be an amazing journey over the next decade or so, and I hope you'll watch along with me as we go through each step. Huge congratulations today to NASA, to JPL, to everybody on the Perseverance and Ingenuity team. What a crazy accomplishment. It's been done before, but only once. And yeah, very exciting day. I hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.